6 months of dealing with all these folks from India. I think it's just a big Patel family reunion over there. But we have got a great guest with us today. Brock joins us here on the old Skip Skype. Yes, the Skype-a-rooney, and he's with us. If you're watching us on BitChute or Rumble or Facebook or any of the other places, the YouTube, any of that, Brock has a collection of pretty kick-ass guitars, it looks like, on the wall there.
Well, there's a couple there.
Tell me a little bit about these guitars.
Well, this one here is a 83 Hamer special, checkerboard special. And, well, since we're talking about it here, the coolest thing about this guitar, I don't know if you can you see the checkerboard headstock there? Yeah, so that's because they made a bunch of guitars for Rick Nielsen and all that, so they adopted so that's that. This one's this is a 62 Melody Maker. I just,
That's
I try
fantastic.
to keep them hanging on the wall because when I come home from doing other stuff, if I see guitars, I'm more likely to pick it up than if it's just sitting in the case, So whatever ones I have at home, I just try to keep them out and play them,
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. So, Brock, how do we get in touch with you online?
Well, let's see. Twitter, I'm at Halfbutt. I'm also at Slip-On's Band. That's the main band account. Let's see. It's the Slip-Ons Vancouver on Instagram, at Slip-Ons Vancouver. That's the band Instagram. At BrockPytel is my solo Instagram. God, there's tons of them. Yeah, we'll start with those and move forward if you want more.
How did you get interested in music?
Well, I think probably suffering led me to music. Just being miserable, ultimately. But the inspiration came from like being a kid listening to my mom's vinyl records when I was like 6. I just put on whatever she had and jump up and down on the couch and dance. That's kind of where it all began, honestly.
That's awesome.
And then, when I was 11, I lost my mom. So throughout my life, I guess my connection to love and happiness and all that has kind of, moved through the emotions of music. So that's kind of how it works for me.
That's fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. Joins us live here on our big broadcast. So Brock, tell me a little bit about your musical heroes and influences.
Oh, wow. I guess off the top of my head, Neil Young was a big one for me, growing up in Canada. Bob Mould, started with Neil Young because that was the first guy that was like, okay, I could maybe do this, right? Just pick up an acoustic guitar and thrang out some chords and warble some lyrics. It made it seem possible, and then moving on from that kind of moved into the punk rock era. A friend of mine introduced me to Husker Du. So I heard that record Zen Arcade, and that was pretty influential to me as well. That kind of, that was the next progression of those folky songs that you're playing a la Neil Young. You just sort of suddenly pick up an electric guitar and turn it on and turn up loud, and it adds a whole new dimension to those otherwise folky songs. It just turns it into punk rock. Punk rock's kind of largely like, folk for, angry dudes, right? So that's
awesome.
That's kind of where it went for me, Neil Young, Bob Mould. God, there's many. Peter Gabriel's a huge inspiration because the guy's just got an amazing voice. But how about you?
Well, I love the fact that you're doing what you're doing. So Brock, how do people get your music? How do they find your music and buy your music and all this stuff?
Yeah, the pre-order for the new Slip-Ons record is happening now, and that's on our Bandcamp. So just Bandcamp. I don't know what the Bandcamp is. Go to Bandcamp and search Slip-Ons. There's also like a sort of a Linktree type page. It's just slipons.herenow.com. That gives you all the links, and there's no dash between the slip and ons there. slipons.herenow.com. .hearnow.com. That'll give you all the links to the pre-orders and stuff like that. It's on Spotify. It's on all the DSPs right now. So you just go out there and search it. You'll find it. The new track is called Heavy Machinery. It's the title track of a 5-song EP, which is coming out at the end of the month, June 30th.
We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. And you have put together quite the deal here. Tell me a little bit about your songwriting process.
Oof. Well, it all goes back to the emotions, right? So you have to experience something that makes you feel something. And, so there's a feeling and there's an idea. And sometimes, like, one of the cool things that started to happen with Slip-Ons is that we've started writing together. It originally used to be like I would come to the band with a complete song and we would sort of flesh it out. But now different people, like Rob, our guitar player, will come with a really cool lick, and I'll be like, oh, that sounds like something like this, like there's a song on our new record called Mosquito, and it's basically the metaphor for mosquitoes being like problems, just don't go away, or you're getting swarmed by mosquitoes around your head on a hot summer day, right? But in that case, it was just an idea of the way the riff sounded. It reminded me of mosquito, and then we just took that idea and ran with it. So it's kind of whatever inspires you, man. For me, it's just usually begins with a lyrical idea, and then there'll be some music built around it, and then the last thing would be finishing off the lyrics to like a composed with good verse development and that sort of thing, because they tend to not just all drop in your lap like you would like them to.
We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on 990 WBOB out there in Rhode Island, of all places. And also you can find us at The Mix on Tuesdays. And we have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. So, Brock, the first song we are going to play is Anemic Heart. Tell me a little bit about this track.
Well, this was one I did right after there was a reunion of my previous band, the Doughboys. We got together to play a few shows with Dave Grohl and Foo Fighters in like about 12 years ago now. So I was in Montreal with my buddies, and my friend Howard Bylerman has a studio there called Hotel to Tango. You might know it from Godspeed You Black Emperor or Arcade Fire. These are bands that worked with Howard. So Howard invited me over, and this was a song I had. Actually, we were in to record another song, and we recorded that song, which is Hurrah Hooray. And at the end of that day, Howard was like, okay, well, here's the keys to the studio. Write something new for tomorrow. And so I really only had that first line, tell me it was sweet, tell me that it's over. And Howard gave me the keys to the studio, and I just basically slept there and fleshed that one out, and came back the next day. My buddies and I recorded it. So yeah, it's basically the idea of like, you want to love, but your heart's just coming up a little short on red blood cells,
We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. So we are going to do this. I'm going to put you on a brief hold here on Skype, and we are going to play this track. It's Anemic Heart, and our guest is with us today, the fantastic BrockPytel, and right now, it's Anemic Heart. Go big karate.
I should forget, but if you thought you were not wrong, it's that's feeling all the lamentations of regret, disguising things I should forget. But if you thought you were not wrong to whisper lies that don't belong, invite me in to share your bed. I believe the words you said. Tell me it was sweet. Tell me that it's over. I cannot compete with demons in your order. Can't go back to sleep. Dreams go way too deep. Tell me it was sweet. Then tell me that it's over.
That is Anemic Heart, the fantastic guest that we have today. BrockPytel is with us today. BrockPytel. I don't know. Who's that woman? I don't know who that woman is. Okay. If you're watching us on our television side, we have got a great guest back with us today. Brock joins us live here on our big program. So Brock, tell us about your songwriting process.
Wow. Well, like I said before, it usually starts with some kind of strong emotional feeling,
Okay.
or some event that really strikes you, right? So, like our new record's called Heavy Machinery. The song, the title track's Heavy Machinery. So that one came from a moment where I was walking along. My day job is I work in film, so I drive a lot of big aerial lifts quite a lot.
Okay.
This is part of that. And I was dating this girl one time, and we used to, every time we'd walk by one of these machines parked on the street, she'd be like, "You gonna drive this one? You gonna drive that one?" And because I used to look at see if the keys were there every now and then. Sometimes people leave the keys, and you could just fire them up and go for a drive in a gigantic 80-foot lift, right? Seems like fun. Anyway, so one time she said that such a thing. We're walking by one, and she said, "Do you want to operate this one?" And I said, "The only heavy machinery I want to operate is you." And we made out, and it was a romantic moment. And so I wrote about it. It's just stuff happens, and that was kind of a weird thing because it was like a movie line. You don't really ever have those things happen in your life, but that was very much like did someone write this? So it seemed like it ought to be in a song. That's kind of how it is for me. Just I hear things, someone say things, and it just that seems like it ought to be a song. So I guess that's my job, is to make those songs, right? Because if no one else hears them, then they're not going to get out here.
We've got
it's maybe not so much of a detailed process, but for me, it's mostly just responding to stimuli, I guess, to sum it up.
That is awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. Fantastic guest. Brock joins us here in our broadcast. And so how do people buy your music and support what you're doing?
Well, they go to my Bandcamp and pre-order the LP, or they go on Spotify and just stream it. All the services, Amazon and Apple Music. I've got the song you just played is under my own name, BrockPytel, and my new band is called Slip-Ons. So look for any of those outfits on those services, and we're happy to have the support.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to play one more track here. Heavy Machinery. Tell me about the production process and bringing this to life.
Well, this one was mixed by Dave Ogilvy. You may have been familiar with him from Skinny Puppy, and he's kind of a heavy hitter up here in Vancouver. So we recorded this locally at a studio called Monarch with the now deceased Olivia Kwan. She died tragically a couple of weeks after we finished with her, which was a real shame. She's a real bright star in the local scene, 25 years old, and so yeah, we recorded with those two fine people, and it was mastered by another buddy of mine from Richmond, Virginia, Ronan Chris Murphy. He's worked with King Crimson and Guar and a number of other folks like that. So that's the people that handle the technical aspect of things, and yeah, and we're putting it out ourselves on Scam Indie Records.
Fantastic. Well, we are going to do this. We are going to place out another brief hold. We're going to play this track, then we're going to kind of wrap things up and get to our next guest. Right now it's Heavy Machinery, and it is on the Sunday radio program. Maybe if the file will play. Maybe if the file will play.
Friday night
is Heavy Machinery, and it is your world famous Jiggy Jaguar experience each and every Sunday, live as live can get, on 990 WBOB out there in Rhode Island. We're going to wrap things up here with Brock. He's back with us here on our big program. So, Brock, before we let you go, what is next for you as an artist, my friend?
Well, next for us, basically, just to keep, get this record out on the 30th, and then the vinyl comes like about 10 days later on July 10th, 11th. Fill all our pre-orders, and then we have a few shows coming up. My sort of a long-term goal is to just keep putting stuff out every June and every January. So that's the next thing. After this comes out, we got to get to work on what's going to come out in January. So it'll either be another Slip-On song, or another Brock song, or possibly another collaboration I've been doing with James from a band called Bison locally. So, the long term is just keep putting out music every 6 months.
Awesome.
Reach as many hearts in as many ears.
Awesome.
Talk to people like yourself.
Well, Brock, thanks for making some time for us today, my friend. I really appreciate the time, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely, James. Be good, man. Take care.
Appreciate it. There he goes, the fantastic, amazing BrockPytel. He's with us today here on our big broadcast.